welcome to the SaaS Revolution Show. Christian Reber, CEO and co-founder at Pitch. Welcome, Christian. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Excited to be on your podcast.
Yeah. First time on the podcast, and first time in a few years that I've seen you. You spoke at SaaStock a few years ago in Dublin. I think, as we mentioned just before then, when you're looking for that next big idea, and it looks like you found that next big idea in Pitch. So looking forward to talking a little bit more about that. Was there any truth in the rumors that Pitch was formed at SaaStock?
That is a great question. I think the idea happened at SaaStock. It took us a couple of months to fully put the pieces together and develop a proper product strategy and stuff. But yeah, it was born at SaaStock. I think that was kind of the starting point for us to start a new company. We all went there to explore new ideas and get inspired. So good. Thank you for that.
Well, good to see that that happened, and we can lay a partial claim to that. So we'll take shares in Pitch if not too late. Probably too late now, but good. So, well, Christian, not only, I mean, you're the co-founder of Pitch. You co-founded Wunderlist as well, which had a nice exit story to Microsoft. Although I think they tried to shut it down, and you're looking to buy it back, or you bought it back. But
well, I unsuccessfully attempted to buy it back. That's true.
Okay. Well, maybe we can get into that, but we'll see. It could be a whole different podcast, how to unsuccessfully buy back companies that you sold. But tell us a little bit about yourself, as a person first. So we obviously know that you're a serial entrepreneur, but who are you as a person?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Well, I'm 35 years old, born in East Germany, behind walls. I discovered computers at a very early age because my mother had a computer that I was able to play around with. I taught myself programming because I was super interested into building my own tools and scripts. I don't know. I somehow always had the ambition to become a founder and start something. Actually, I read a book from Bill Gates. I don't know, I think it's called Way Forward or something like that. At the age of 15, 16. And then I was completely sold on starting something big and trying to, I'm trying to build my own version of Microsoft, Apple, Google, but based in Europe, or headquartered in Europe, let's say. And that's really who I am. I'm a programmer at heart. I obviously am a product-driven founder. That's really, I think, my DNA, because my superpower is identifying opportunities and bringing people together. And that's what I do all my life, I guess.
Very cool, and good to hear. So, and trying to build European version of Microsoft and Google. I didn't know that, but let's look into that. Not that specifically, but in terms of you've done this is the second time around, right? So you built Wunderlist. So let's a quick a bit about your experience as there, and then we talked about the idea, coming out of SaaStock, half sort of jokingly. But in terms of how did you come to co-found Pitch, and why do it the second time around? Was it because with Microsoft buying the company, you realized that you hadn't built Microsoft, and you wanted to build a company that would buy Microsoft or something like that?
Yeah, it's weird to talk about it, but I never celebrated selling my company. It took me quite some time to get over it. I mean, I'm very grateful for everything that happened. Being able to basically work on any kind of project I want, having financial independence, like that's awesome. While at the same time, I truly felt like I did not achieve anything. I lost my company basically. And I was truly driven by trying to find the biggest possible opportunity there is. We explored many different ideas, and pitch really was the one. Knowing that we were design-driven software founders with a little bit of experience from the Wunderlist days, we thought this is a product category that we are excited about, that can create meaningful impact. Like we like to say that pitch not necessarily is the most revolutionary type of product, but it can enable other companies to build revolutionary products if it succeeds. I think that is the story. It was a very pragmatic approach of doing a lot of market research, trying to understand market dynamics, how software is going to evolve in the over the next years and decades, and we saw the likes of Figma and Canva and InVision, Sketch, and so on, like lots of new interesting design companies. And I think as founders, we had an appetite for that category because we love design. But then we thought actually the design category it's quite crowded, but the space for presentation software, we felt like is ready for disruption. It's ready for the next generation of presentation software. We learned that people have a love-hate relationship with presentations in general, and also with the tools. And we had hundreds of ideas for building a significantly better product experience. And that led to the idea of building the world's first complete platform for presentations. I'm super excited about it. I think it will probably take us 10 years from like that initial idea to like completion of the first complete version of that vision. But it's super exciting.
A couple of questions and hopefully my facts are correct. So is it correct that there's 5 co-founders for Pitch, or around that mark?
It's actually 8 founders.
Okay. Even more than I thought. So then the question there is that, given that you're a second-time founder, was that decision to have 8 co-founders in any way reflective of your experience the first time? My gut or my assumption would have said, well, having the experience, maybe you won't need so many co-founders around you, and potentially have fewer. But actually, is it the opposite? I'm just interested to know why 8 co-founders.
Again, very pragmatic. I was the one that had the idea of building Pitch, and then I was curious who I could build this company with, and I reached out to the best people I've ever worked with from my Wunderlist days, and I was trying to fill the gaps that I can fill. Like, I wanted someone who can help me to build a great company culture and help me recruit our team. So I chose Vanessa as my co-founder to help me with exactly that task. I knew that we're going to build a software product with mobile apps and web technologies, and I therefore reached out to our former head of web development at Wunderlist and our head of mobile from Wunderlist, and I just got the very best people together to start this company with. And some I pulled out of Microsoft, others were busy with like being at other companies and startups. So yeah, I honestly, I have always started companies this way. So for me personally, it's not weird. I know that usually you have like 2 or 3 people starting a company. For me, it's always a group of people. Wunderlist has also been started by 6 people. Um, at that time, it was a very funny story. I started the company behind Wunderlist myself, and then the first institutional investor said to me, like, I'm not going to fund a business with just one founder. Like, that's super weird. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have co-founders. Wait, I have like, I'm going to pick my first 5 as co-founders. Let me ask them real quick if they're interested in becoming co-founders. And that was it. That was the story. And I offered everyone a solid equity package in that business. And we just did it together. And it's always a blast to start a company with friends.
Amazing, good stuff. And I guess Microsoft didn't not sell you the business back because you took all the best staff from Wunderlist. It wasn't that they were angry at you on that. But we don't have to comment. We can.
No, honestly, like there's no drama involved in that. I was genuinely interested in buying back the company, and I wanted to turn that into a profitable niche SaaS company with hopefully millions of happy customers. That was my intention of buying back Wunderlist, and I thought, Microsoft, you get rid of Wunderlist, which you are probably afraid of shutting down because it's quite popular, and you can take the team and build your own version of it that perfectly fits into the Office 365 environment. And I kind of solve a problem for you by helping you to not shut down another successful product. Yeah, I think Microsoft had a strict policy to not engage with me in any conversations. So I took that public as like my last attempt to actually have a proper conversation. I had investors aligned that would have helped me to buy back the company if it would have been an expensive deal. Didn't work out. In the end, I started my own version of a Wunderlist successor, Superlist, which I co-founded, and it's a team of former people on the Wunderlist team and also others that now build the successor. Yeah, I'm not mad in any way. I don't have any beef with Microsoft in any way. Like there's no drama involved.
Good. And also like getting back to pitch then. So It was a couple of years, from idea, in development to I think launching, which again, my facts are correct. Maybe was it last year that you actually sort of launched the product?
Exactly. We launched it in October 2020, and the company has been founded in January 2018. Yeah. So, well, I mean, starting a company the second time is a lot easier. Like I like to compare it with actually becoming a first-time parent. Like when I became a first-time father, my perspective changed on everything. And all of the sudden I understood life is not just about me. Actually, now I have to take care of others. And the moment I became a second-time father, I realized like, this is kind of like the same. And a lot of processes of raising a child are repetitive. So when you start a company the second time, you are much better equipped. And it started with choosing the right co-founders really hiring the right people very early on, people you have already worked with. So everything, I think, for a second-time founder is a little bit easier. There's absolutely no guarantee in succeeding in the end. Like any company you're starting, any startup can go up in flames at any time. So I think I'm an optimist by nature, and I think we have all the right ingredients to succeed with pitch in the long term, and obviously we're doing well right now. But yeah, it's easier, but not guaranteed success, unfortunately.
Well, let's look into again. This will be, I guess, the central kind of theme of this podcast, and like it being easier the second time around. The advantages, maybe some of the shortcuts, the things that the levers that you know how to pull, kind of like this time, and so on. And thinking that like we might have a lot of first-time founders listening to this podcast, or probably predominantly, how some of the advantages or the lessons that you have in doing it second time round could be also applicable to them as well. So like if we go into it, so first of all, one of the things I've noticed is that you've raised an incredible amount of money in a very short space of time for pitch, right? 137.7 million, I think, according to Crunchbase. And it was 35 million for Wunderlist, I believe, right?
Yes, roughly, yeah.
Yeah. And so what is it that you can share with this in mind around money, around fundraising, that's helped you raise bigger and faster than the first time around? Obviously, I mean, part of it is if you've had an exit, if you're a second time founder, I think often the VCs are much more interested because they say, okay, you know how to do it, right? There's one, exactly. I guess that's kind of one thing, maybe the main thing. But what else is there, if anything, that helps you raise more faster the second time around?
Well, it's not just the fact that we have done this before in some capacity. It's also the market conditions are completely different. The first time we've raised funding for Wunderlist was like, I had no idea what venture capital is, and the first angel invested 100,000 euros for 20% of the business. That is, today you don't see those types of deals anymore. But at that time in 2010, it was a great deal, and we benefited tremendously from that investment and learned a ton. Times have obviously changed. With pitch, I actually aimed to bootstrap the business this time. And again, I failed at that, I guess. So we explored a couple of ideas because we weren't sure what is the biggest idea. Pitch was one, and then we had an idea for building a new type of recruiting software and a couple of other ideas. But pitch was the one that from the beginning we were the most excited about. But even though I had the idea, I also said, I think this is a terrible idea. I don't know how we can monetize this product and really grow it. Can we really compete with something like PowerPoint? So the strategy we chose was, let's spend 6 months on this. Let's explore product designs, the tech stack. Let's talk to other investors, friends, to really develop a well-informed opinion about this opportunity that we obviously see and feel. But maybe that helps us to better understand if it's a real opportunity or if it's an illusion. Again, we had I think the advice I would give founders is to not get overly excited about an idea. Like I have literally product ideas, 10 ideas a week, but I only execute one idea per decade, I guess. The way we've done this is we learned from Wunderlist that because we were one of the first applications in the App Store, and the App Store was a new thing while we built our company, we have grown on the back of Apple and on the back of Google and App Stores. But at that time, when we sold the company, I felt like consumer software is not so interesting anymore. So I would love to explore a B2B SaaS product, ideally with a consumer angle. where individual users could also use this product and do great work in. And we looked at all big categories: spreadsheet tools, text collaboration, so like Notion, Coda, Airtable, and then we looked at design tools, and that's really where we got inspired. We thought the market for designers is relatively small on its own. We thought like maybe you have like 10 million digital designers on this planet, and thought there's probably a bigger market to focus on. And we knew some of the numbers from PowerPoint from Microsoft days and thought like that is a gigantic market. Basically every company in the world is making very business critical decisions based on the output of presentation software. If we can build a product for that market and just gain 10% of market share in 10 years, we would probably become a multi-billion-dollar business. And yeah, so the story really was exploring different ideas, then giving it 6 months to get started. In the end, I think it only took like 3 months to really know, okay, pitch is in it. It's a great opportunity. It's a cool brand. We also developed the brand pitch in that time. We really have an idea how to build a valuable product for our customers. We understood how to monetize it. We understood that presentations are meant to be shared, and therefore we are building a product that basically sells itself if it's good enough. And then ultimately, after 3 months, we understood, okay, this idea and opportunity checks all the boxes. And then when it came to fundraising, I had a very simple intention. I wanted to own as much as possible for as long as possible in this business. I'm going to finance this business on my own from the money I made with Wunderlist. And what happened then was that I would say I thought I'm simply receiving outrageous offers that are too hard to resist. The first check we've got was I think on a 20 million euro valuation, and I was like, wow! Like going back to my example from Wunderlist, the $100,000 check or 100,000 euro check for 20% of the business. Like times have changed, and then it was just a very business-oriented decision I had to make. Like, am I gonna put millions of euros at risk, like my personal cash, to build this company, or am I gonna de-risk it a little bit with venture funding? After we raised the seed round, we continued. We built a first prototype within just 3 months. Built a really solid pitch, and the next investor approached us and got really interested in what we're doing. They knew our background, as you said. It's a little bit easier if you're a serial founder to attract investors in general. And all I did was demo the product and walk them through our 5-year product vision. The meeting started in a very relaxed fashion. I think I know that the investor wasn't too excited about presentation software in general. Actually, the investor is Neil Reimer, the founder, one of the founders of Index Ventures, and he said to me after the meeting, like, "Boy, when I got here, I thought I'm falling asleep when I heard this is like presentation software. This really doesn't sound too exciting." And then I went through the product pitch with him, told him about like all the things that we have planned, the complete platform for presentations. We're going to build analytics right within presentations, a distribution platform, live data integrations from different data sources. He got extremely excited and understood the opportunity. And after that meeting, I said like, yeah, but sorry, I can't really take on more funding because I just raised the seed round and I think it's going to last 2 years. And he asked me then like, is there any other way we could potentially still invest in you? Because we like to optimize for opportunities rather than downsides. Like we rather invest right now than losing the deal in the future. And I was like, yeah, what I would offer you is to invest, like to basically take the deal I would offer you if I would raise an A round in a year or two. And he agreed. And that's how it happened. And then also the last 2 rounds with Thrive, Tiger, and Lakestar happened in a very similar fashion. Those firms were excited. We had established relationships from the past. They loved the opportunity. They knew us and were impressed by I think by the vision, by the way we built the product, and then decided to invest and bet on the company at a, I would say, very early stage still. I mean, technically we have launched like 8 months ago or so. Pitch is still far away from being a super stable, rock solid, profitable SaaS company. And internally, the decision we've made was we knew that like the more we worked on pitch, the more we understood we're basically building multiple companies in one company. Like you could say we're kind of building SlideShare built into pitch. We're kind of building DocSend built into pitch. And we are building a presentation tool into pitch. All of those products have been independent companies in the past, and we aim to do that in one integrated product. And that requires a lot of people, a lot of engineers, designers, etc. I think as a founder, I always try to have cash in the bank for multiple years so I can survive a potential economic drama like the financial crisis just a couple of years ago. And by the end of last year, right after we've launched Pitch, I thought, okay, now's a good time to raise funding again. Market conditions are ideal. We've just launched. We have great traction. We have happy customers. We have a great product. Let's give this a try and make sure we have enough cash in the bank to build the product we are dreaming of. And yeah, so I hope this is like helpful enough for any early stage founder.
No, definitely some amazing insights there, and obviously great advice around having enough cash in the bank, hopefully to for a few years and to survive the potential kind of ups and downs and things that might be around the corner. Such as COVID and things like that. And you mentioned about the multiple products and then needing a team big enough to kind of work on, or you say, multiple companies almost within kind of one company. So then, speaking of team, you did hire some of the people that you worked with before or became your co-founders and probably some other members of the team. But what have you done differently this time around, again, from what you've learned from the first time around as the second-time CEO? So what are you doing differently?
It's quite tricky for me to like be specific about that, because I feel like technically I'm doing everything differently. I mean, Wunderlist was the 3rd company I've started, but the very first real software startup that was venture backed. And I was a complete newbie. I have never built such a company, and I wrote the first version of Wunderlist together with 2 other engineers myself. And I think I've grown from a micromanaging founder to a first-time CEO under enormous pressure at Wunderlist, because we've launched the product and it was a massive overnight success. Like we were walking through Berlin and in coffee bars, like everyone was using Wunderlist, everyone was excited about it. And I realized, oh my God, I have to build a company around this now. This is like outgrowing me almost. So I, as a founder, I had to build a company around Wunderlist while it was growing like wildfire. With Pitch, it's a very different, very different situation because we knew that it probably takes us 2 years to build the very first version of Pitch that we can launch publicly. So we were trying to operate under the radar for 2 years, and then we ran a closed beta. So technically, I do everything differently. Like just this, even like picking my co-founders was completely different. I made very intentional decisions on what kind of like skill do I need in the founding team, and chose the people based on that. I personally chose at the very early stage that I want to be the CEO and the head of product, something that I personally was frustrated about at Wunderlist in the end, that I gave that role away to someone else who was really good at it. Don't get me wrong, but I felt I'm basically the assistant now of everyone. Not that I want to downplay the role of an assistant, but I just wasn't happy with that role for myself. I know that I'm a product person. I love product design, product strategy, and I want to lead it. So I made that decision very intentional in the early days. And yeah, I think the way we just built this company is very, very different. I think actually working at Pitch is not so easy because the culture we create is very autonomous. You kind of like get thrown into ice cold water. I'm not sure if that's correct what I'm just saying, but
yeah, makes sense.
You get a challenge like building a new feature of the product or launching a new initiative, like the platform that we're just rolling out. We hired a great guy, John is his name, from a company in Berlin called Dubsmash. I tasked him with, you're going to build the platform for us. I'm going to give you all the resources you need, engineers, designers, marketers, whatever, but you are solely responsible for the success of this platform. All I'm going to do is advise you on product design, product strategy. That's my job, but you're going to own this. And I think that experience as a team member it's probably amazing, but also quite frightening at times. And that is completely different. At Wunderlist, it was pure top-down leadership. It was me deciding, today we're going to build this, tomorrow we're going to build this. I was involved in every single like decision on like pixels, positions of buttons, etc. And it was extremely annoying for the team to work with me because I was micromanaging. And I thank God I learned that. I'm actually quite thankful now for having sold Wunderlist because now I can avoid making the same mistakes. I still, I think, am involved on product topics at an obsessive level, I guess. But I think also that's part of my success story. Like I can't remove that from myself. I will always want to be involved in product. And yeah, and I think we everything we're doing is very much driven by trying to build an awesome company. And I would say it's now even more important for us to build a great culture than a great product. We pride ourselves with having an average 5-star rating on Glassdoor. we really try to give as much autonomy as we can to our team members, and that is a fundamental difference between first and second company.
Picking up on you sort of mentioning there that you're CEO and head of product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I understand when you started a business and you've got co-founders, somebody needs to be CEO, and you've chosen
Mm-hmm.
that role. And often, like the CEO, you know, can be the first developer, the first head of product, or they could be the one leading sales and so on. But at some point, they don't do the dual roles. They kind of have to give it up and, you know, get somebody else in order to kind of like scale as the company scales, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is that your intention, given it like how much you love sort of products? Do you feel that you'll have to let go of being head of product soonish? What are your thoughts?
That's a great question, because I'm actually going through that process of self-reflection right now as we speak. I think part of the secret sauce behind our founding team is that we deeply trust each other. I mentioned Vanessa earlier, my co-founder, who handles all people-related topics like recruiting and retaining talent. I don't get involved with her work very much. And she does an outstanding job on that. My CTO, Adam, he's incredible. Like, I don't review any line of code ever. It's not my job. But and my co-founders, I think, also deeply trust my instinct on product decisions, also marketing decisions. I think I have a good instinct. Like, I'm an instinct-driven founder, and I think if you also invest in companies, as an angel investor, always try to find founders that truly seem to have a great instinct for their market, for their industry. There was never a discussion about this. I think from the beginning, it was always clear that I'm going to be the CEO. I'm going to be responsible for always making sure there's enough money in the bank, for developing the company vision, the business strategy, and the product strategy. But I have also always tried to do this in a way that I involve everyone. Like, it's not me driving the strategy or me setting the course necessarily. The way we operate is we do quarterly planning, yearly planning, and we debate everything, every feature we're going to launch, every like big, bold product initiative we're going to do. And there are heavy debates. And I'm basically just the referee that ultimately has to make the decision on which course we're going to take. I think I'm probably the right CEO to lead this company to success. I'm not sure from an operational standpoint if I can actually at all manage day-to-day product decisions. Like, at some point I need, and it's not like I don't have people that help me with that. I have an amazing co-founder, Eric, who I partner on product discussions every single day, basically. And actually, I do this with all co-founders. I can see right now that Pitch it's a very complex product with a very big vision. Therefore, we have to hire a big team. We have to not only build the product, but also build the machine that builds the machine. I'm trying to figure out what is the ideal leadership structure going forward. Do I need to hire a leader for the commercial side of the business, for example, so I can focus more on product? Or do I have to hire a head of product that I can partner with and takes over the day-to-day responsibility of managing all product managers, basically. But that's I would say the natural path of any founder and CEO. I think every CEO has a specific strength. Like some founders are incredibly good at selling product set to like other businesses. They're just completely business driven, revenue driven. I'm obviously a product person, and therefore I need to figure out like when is the right time to hand things over, at least in some capacity. But we'll see. Ask me in 6 months again.
I will. Hopefully, I'll ask you at SaaStock online in October, and see where you are then. And sort of just conscious of time, so I think hopefully time for one last question. And really, this is around this sort of like acquiring customers, your lead gen, your sort of go-to-market model. Now, you said earlier about Wunderlist, being quite early in the App Store, riding the wave of like the App Store, and some of the success, obviously being a great product, but being built on the back of like the growth of Apple and the App Store. I believe that's how you put it. But this time with Pitch, so how are you going to get, like, what's the growth sort of plan, the go-to-market plan? How is this coming about? So you've got however many billions of users or millions of users of PowerPoint. Like, how is this going to grow? What's the plan?
Well, I have to choose my words carefully, because I obviously don't want to reveal my entire strategy. But we, at the start, as I said, we understood that we're gonna have to work on this product for at least 2 years until we can launch it. And I was actually seeking advice from the founder of Zoom, who was an angel investor in Pitch, on that. Like, I asked him, how long did it take to build Zoom until you could ship it to customers? And he said 2 years. So I gave myself the same benchmark and said, okay, in 2 years, I want to be ready. After I think 1.5 years or so, we felt like, okay, the product is in a really good state. It's usable. Let's get the first teams on it. And that decision was driven by one of our engineers, who said, like, why are we even waiting? Like, this product is ready. And I thought that was a really good thought. And we just invited users and worked with our customers and users at that time to improve the product. We just listened and tried to make better decisions on product. Then a year later, we just invited our waitlist. Can't remember how many people those were, probably like 80,000 or so that registered during those 2 years before we've launched. We invited them. We obviously got a lot of signups from just that launch activity. Then we publicly announced the product. We got some press, some attention. And then thankfully, users just started sharing pitch decks with each other. And that obviously was the bet we've made from the start. If we build a product that is optimized for teams, then people are just going to share this product in a viral way. I think right now we try to grow organically. So most of the growth we see is purely organic. We've experimented a little bit with paid marketing to accelerate growth, but I feel like give us 1 or 2 more years to perfect the product, and then we can heavily invest into acquiring customers in the future. Pitch will launch in the Mac App Store, in the Windows Store, in iOS and Android stores. So we definitely plan to like use that opportunity as well to grow the user base. But ultimately, we think users are going to invite each other because they have a great time using Pitch. The platform, the ecosystem that we're building around Pitch, the motivation obviously there is to also find new customers organically by existing users, by enabling our users to share their content on our ecosystem and thereby create a viral loop. And I think many other companies have proven that works already before us. Popular examples are Canva, for example, great company from Australia. So I don't think there will be no magic secret. Like what we're doing is, I internally and also towards investors, I usually say like we have the usual SaaS playbook for growth. There's no secret sauce in growing. What we have to do is we have to build the best possible product. And ultimately, as a product person, I think it's always the best product that wins in the end, and not the company with the best growth hacks or whatever. So let's hope I'm right.
Christian, been fascinating speaking with you, listening to you, learning from you about your experiences of say, like doing this the second time around in SaaS. And so tell us, like, where can people find Pitch online? Where can they find you?
Well, I can be found on Twitter mostly. I try to respond to feedback instantly, basically. And Pitch can be found on pitch.com.
And we'd like to say, having spoken at SaaStock in Dublin a couple of years ago, you'll be speaking at SaaStock EMEA online this year, as we're not doing an in-person event this year owing to COVID, but we'll be back in Dublin next year. But great to have you back at SaaStock in October. What do we think, apart from maybe some updates in your self-reflection around being the CEO and the head of product? Would we be looking to kind of learn from you in October? Is it too early to say, or have you had a thought about it already?
It's probably a little bit too early to say. I'm still thinking about a good talk.
Well, I think like we've got some good insights into certainly potentially what that could be. So really, hopefully, this is a great taster, but also not only that, some great lessons for everybody listening today. So really appreciate you sharing, the openness, the honesty, the great lessons that you shared with the SaaStock audience today in the SaaS Revolution Show. So really appreciate that, Christian Reber, CEO, co-founder of Pitch and head of product. And it's been great speaking to you, and look forward to speaking again in October.
Thank you very much.